everybody, my name is Andisiwe Dwenga. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Guys, I am bringing you such an exciting video. I present to you the one and the only Andisiwe Dwenga.
Hi, hello everyone.
Babe, thank you so much for this. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate how we've come to know each other and where we are now in our friendship. How we relate to each other, some of our stories. You will remember, so a couple of months ago, I had covered, very blankly, I had covered a talk about HIV and employment. So I was quite interested in terms of what are some of the policies pertaining to HIV and employment. And this old video covers a particular case about Dwenga versus the state of South Africa. Right? The Republic of South Africa. Not knowing this person from anywhere, right? So I covered it, put it on my YouTube channel. Everyone started relating to it. They were quite shocked, about some of the things that are happening behind the scenes in the South African National Defence Force, and other, firms. And then a couple of days after that, I get a friend request. I get a message, but Sissy, the person that you were covering on that video was actually me. I was thrown back. So I want to know you better. I want our friends, our followers to know you better. Before we even get to the case, to your story, let's take it back. How was growing up? Like Wakunjani, is there any particular moment in your childhood that stands out for you right now?
For starters, we grew up well. We had everything that every child needs because my dad was working. My dad was a minister, he was a pastor, he was also working, he was a businessman. My mother was also a businesswoman. Yeah. So we grew up in that family setup where we were born in marriage. All of us, we were born in marriage. And then later on, when my parents moved to George, it happened that there was a case whereby my mother needed somebody to stay with us because she was a businesswoman, she was busy. So she needed somebody that would be taking care of us. And we had a cousin that my mother was like, okay, she's no longer going to school, let me take her, because my aunt was poor. So she was like, let me take her and come. Yes, then she can go to school also and be a child with us. Yes. And then that is when the problem started, that she fell pregnant. And when she fell pregnant, my mother was asking, who made you pregnant? And the name was just not coming out. And only to find out later that she was pregnant and it was my dad's child.
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
And then what happened?
And apparently my mother thought it was a statutory rape. Okay. And my dad got arrested, but the cousin released him and said he was not raped. She was not raped by Udata. She loves Udata, and that was it. So then there was a separation between my parents. My mother left with us. She actually ran away with us. It was not a nice living. There was no divorce that took place. She ran away with us.
And how did that make you feel? Okay, when you're still too young to comprehend what was going on?
We were young, but we went through so much. We experienced everything that was happening because everything in the house began to change. There was a lot of fights each and every time, up to a stage whereby my mother decided to leave. And when she decided to leave, she left first and left us with our father. And then she later came and took us. We escaped with her to Plettenberg Bay. And my dad knew nothing about us, and he did not know where we were. So we were fully aware of what was happening because my dad had explained everything that happened. Because he tried to commit suicide a lot of times because of what happened.
How was the Umama? You said she was a businesswoman, but it doesn't change the fact that from your conversation, Udada was still the breadwinner. Was there a change in terms of the provision where now Umama is taking all kids? And how many are you? For all 4 kids, now to take care of her own. Was there a change in terms of provision?
We suffered. We had everything. First of all, Tinekaya, there was a car. We were taken to school with the car. We never walked to school. My dad dropped us every morning, and we had such a great relationship with our father. My dad was a loving husband. He was the best husband. Something that I wish for in a husband. Because my dad would tell my mother that, relax, I'm going to take care of the kids. And he would take care of us in the morning and drive us to school. So all of a sudden we did not have that. And my mother did not do business anymore because in Platinum Bay there were no means for her to start the business. So my dad was no longer working at the time of the separation. He was also doing a business with my mother full time. So when she separated with my father, she had to start working as a domestic worker where she earned 600 rand a month. So she had to take care of us. We moved from staying in a big house into a shack. We stayed in a shack and sometimes it would rain. And when it rained, we had a sail. It was not zinc.
Yeah.
And then we would take a broom, push us, so that so we shifted beds, and we are coming from a home where we had our own bedroom as kids. Each and every one of us owned the bed. We had everything. So we were introduced to poverty.
Let's talk about now your first experience in terms of just discovering yourself.
Yeah.
By that I mean you're discovering yourself about, okay, this is actually what I like. Yeah, this is what I don't like. You're discovering boys. Is there anything particular that you would like to mention about, a memory in high school? Yeah, when you started discovering, that point where you started discovering who you are. What happened?
A lot happened. I'm not going to lie to you. When we shifted things around from the life of being pastor's kids to being kids of a single mother, who is also broken from what has happened, who did not want church anymore because the pastor, who is the husband, who has hurt her, is no longer in the picture. So she wanted nothing to do with the church. So we were left stranded. We were left confused. So we started finding life on our own. I started finding life on my own because all the time I was shielded from the world. I was protected from the things that are happening in the world. So for the first time, I was exposed to playing in the streets until 8 o'clock. I was exposed to going around with other kids, copying behaviors that are ungodly. I started drinking at the age of 14, and my mother knew nothing about it. We would be walking around the streets at night with other kids, and we'd be like, no, we are with friends. We were drinking. We started drinking because when we came, we found other kids drinking. So I started drinking at the age of 14. At the age of 15, I introduced myself to boys.
Yeah.
And I fell pregnant immediately.
At 15?
At 15 in my first relationship. It was actually my second relationship.
In what grade?
I was in grade 9 at the time. But I had the first relationship, it was that boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yes.
But the first encounter where I really broke my virginity, I fell pregnant. And when I fell pregnant, I didn't know that I was pregnant. I was young. And my mother could see that this one is pregnant. I was vomiting every time they cooked eggs, and she's like, I'm taking you to the clinic for your earache. I had a problem with ears.
Yes.
So she said she's taking me to the clinic for that.
Okay.
And when we went to the clinic, we found out she did not say anything about the ears.
Okay.
The first thing that she said is that she sleeps a lot and she's always vomiting.
Okay.
I want you to do a pregnancy test. They did a pregnancy test and it came out positive.
Mama, what did you say?
My mother didn't talk to me. She kept quiet and she said, Cecil was born. Those were the words. So it came as a shock to me. It came as a shock to her. And I couldn't accept it because I was like, no, I couldn't be pregnant. I did this thing 2 times. It was not a lot of times. And here I was pregnant. So they sat with me and they asked me, what do I want to do? And they gave me a brochure. And I saw all those things they are using for abortions. Like, in that brochure, and I was like, I'm not deciding on this. So I said, I'm not going to have abortion.
You're going to keep the baby.
I decided to keep the baby.
Fast forward, you kept the baby, you raise your baby actually you take some time off from school to raise the baby. You go back to school, now you sort of have broken up with the father of the baby, And then something happens in grade 11. And then, what happens in grade 11? You are like, actually, can you finish writing a book? Because wow,
No,
every time I'm with you and you tell me a story, I'm like, girlie, I can't. I always get shocked. Please tell the viewers at home what happened in grade 11.
So after the breakup
Yeah.
with the baby, they stopped taking care of the child. And now,
We were left with all that responsibility
yes,
now.
and I was only earning a grant, and I was not even able to earn a grant. My mother had to do it because I was still a minor. So umntanam wayikhula nge-grant, and the most painful thing is that I had to find a way to make ends meet because my mother was a single parent with 4 kids that all of them were at school. And secondly, she was only earning 600 rand. And with all those expenses that she had, I brought a child. And whenever I said to my mother, you Andisiwe Fransi, didinga cream, she would be like, girl, unomntana, thathi nesta uthwale entloko.
Where to? You are but mother, you are.
Athi girl unomntana.
Exactly something that my mom would say.
Anayi imali ye-cream, thathi nesta uthwale entloko. So with that experience, I decided that okay,
It is what it
I
is.
dated.
Okay.
I started dating old men.
Okay.
I started dating older guys because the youngsters, the boys in school who are my age, they would not understand when I ask for money to buy yogurt. They would not understand when I say I need imali purity. They would not understand when I say that at least I need imali yokwenza.
Yeah.
So I started dating older guys.
So now you find yourself a non-South African. First of all, what year is this? 2007. Okay, here's the thing. From my own experience, dating a non-South African now is not a big deal. And a lot of people go that route. But in 2007, dating a non-South African was quite new because there was a stigma attached to non-South African. How old are you, first of all, when this happened? When this was happening?
I was 18.
18. Umthatha besana non-South African?
Oh, ndidibana naye. And it was the time where we were so crazy about Nigerian movies. Kwakhona Blood Sisters ngelaa xesha.
Yes!
I was like, yeah, Blood Sisters, nayenye angena wayesithi no more pain or no more love. Hey, but in movie yakhona, it was so nice. You know how romantic Nigerian movies are.
I've never related.
You've never watched them?
No.
I'm telling you, you would see these guys, someone would go through a lot and a prince will come or a guy would just come and be like, this is my woman. So it was they were so romantic at the time. Others were painful. So I was like, I want that kind of love.
Again, no.
You know, that relationship whereby let's go out for the first time, for the first time, for the first time, so I did not afford those things.
Yeah.
I carry mama maybe as afford. All of a sudden, the girl and get on the sad thing is that Ekaya, we were living in a one room.
Yeah.
So my mother had to understand that I introduced this guy as a friend, and if she's old,
yeah,
she knew that this was not just a friend.
Duh.
But what I told her was that I can't study at home because I was doing a matric in Andisiwe. And I was like, okay, I can study better there because he's got a big house, he stays alone. So my mother, because of my education,
okay,
and she sees the situation at home, and she was like, no, it's okay.
Andy, what do you start noticing now that makes you...
I started noticing there were funny handshakes, and he would come back with money whenever we go, and he meets this white friend. Until I confronted him, I asked him, what actually do you do for a living besides all these hiring movies and all these fixing things? What else do you do? And he finally confessed.
Did you leave?
Why?
I can't do it.
Sana ndiyasokola kaloku ekhaya siyalamba. Le ndoda ivele ithi go and help yourself. Kana ndidinga imali yombane ngoba akukho mbane ekhaya, andifoneli mama ndithi mama sina mbane. Yeka ndithi babe umbane uphelile ekhaya to go and help Osefu.
I can't do it, guys. Okay, and then you realize that this person is drug dealer.
Yeah.
You continue with the relationship.
Clean.
So then, are you part of the business or you don't want to be part of the business?
When he finally admitted, things were no longer hidden from me. Things happened right in front of me. And when those things began to happen, and then I started noticing, I became interested. I remember there was a lady, I don't remember her name, she came to deliver the stuff. She had a pillow, she came with a pillow. And when we picked her up, she was just carrying a pillow, and she said she was sleeping on this pillow. And only I realized when we got home, when they just cut off the pillow and stuff started falling off.
Okay.
And then I realized that this is business. And then later on, we were left alone with this lady. I started asking her, and then that is when she started telling me that she goes to countries, she goes everywhere, she delivers all this stuff and all that.
Mm.
And I was interested. I was like, yo, I would love to do that. Because
yeah?
I'm telling you, because this is so cool.
Wait. Are you saying, baby, okay, just hold on. There's a difference when you're saying you'd like to go to countries. Are you saying you'd like to go to countries to take, like, drugs?
I just wanted to do what she was doing because she said she was making 60,000. And that time, 60,000 was a lot.
Was a lot.
She said that she would travel to Brazil and she would be paid 60,000.
When?
My boyfriend asked me if he can have my details. So I was like, now you can have my details. And then he would just come back with gifts. Or he would actually ask me to go and get the gift. Okay, go and get this gift. Somebody dropped a gift for you. And I would just go and pick up the gift. And only when to find out when the gift arrives, the gift is the parcel. It's the products they just open and then they get their stuff. So we went to Mossel Bay to get it, and that lady promised that she's gonna send a gift for me. Mm. And when that lady sent the gift, we went to pick up, and listen, Christmas. So I was like, okay, my sister will come with, because after that we're going to buy clothes, and I'm gonna buy for my sister. I changed phones all the time, yeah. And then they began to have phones, also expensive phones, through my boyfriend, because you know people who are junkies, they give away everything. They can give the most expensive things. So I would have phones anytime. I would have a new phone anytime. So I would give them phones. I was like, okay, this time around we're going to do a shopping. We're gonna go for a shopping spree with my sister. Not knowing that would be the day that we got arrested, and that was the day that I was waiting for my matric results. Yes.
Like as in, you have a right to remain silent?
Jonga.
Anything you say you'll be used against you?
Let me tell you what actually happened there. We got there to pick up the parcel, and there were people that were sitting. It was big men, white men. They were sitting on a queue, so I thought it was people that are also
coming to take their parcels.
Yeah. And there were other ones who were standing on the side. So I thought it was just the queue. I stood on the queue, and then when they said, ma'am, is this your stuff? I said, yeah, this is my stuff. They said, come and check, is this your name? I was like, yes, this is my name. They were on the floor. Yes, this is my stuff. Yes, that is my name. The next thing, all these men that were sitting here, they stood up to arrest the criminal, only to find out that this is just a teenager.
Then you changed your life around, Chomi. Wangena a defense force, you start now, taking care of your family. Yeah. In the South African National Defense Force, it is a requirement that you need to do a physical test. Mm. Upon also doing a physical test, also it's like a screening, just to make sure. Back then, as far as I understand, it is to see how fit you are for the Defense Force. And back then, if they find out that you have tested positive for HIV, your application is not considered, because the National Defense Force feels that you are not fit enough for the job at hand. And if you are found within Solapa Defense Force, your contract can be terminated. That's how things were in the early 2000s. You now enter the Defense Force, everything looks promising, start working for your family, and then you in one of the screenings?
Yeah, I joined the force. I started taking care of my family. I was a breadwinner. No one was working. I was the only one working. I I started making some few renovations at home because we were staying in a one room.
Yes.
I made a 2-bedroom with bathrooms and everything. You know, I was only earning 4,500, so I was just trying to make things work at home. So I met a guy, we dated a few months, and later on I found out that I was positive. But I want to share how it happened.
Yeah.
Because people, when we talk about HIV nose, people think that it happens when people are sleeping around.
Correct.
And it's not about that.
Correct.
It doesn't take a lot of men to infect one person.
No. It takes
one.
Let alone one man. It takes one sexual encounter.
Yes.
And that's it.
So I was like, I'm seeing this guy, let me just go with this guy. So we went to his place, we stopped at the garage, I was like, get condoms. Because I knew that I'm gonna be spending a whole weekend with a man, so I might as well prepare. We bought the condoms. We went to his place. The first intercourse that I had with that man, a condom busted. And we only realized everything later. And I asked him, after the incident, when was the last time you got tested? He said 2008.
What year was when this happened?
It's 2011.
Sure.
And I was like, yo, 2008, so you mean you don't know your status? He's like, no, I'm negative. You know, we get tested in the force. So you would not really think that people are HIV, because all of us, we did not know, because of this thing that we got tested, and we had an understanding that people who are positive, they cannot be in the force. We had that mentality. Only to find out later, 4 months later, that I'm HIV positive when I was doing my CHA. And I could not understand. Again, I started counting my relationships. I was like, okay, when was the last time I had it raw? I was counting, but this was 3 years ago. And it can't be, because I was tested all this time. I was testing until I joined the force, I was testing. So how is it possible that now I am positive all of a sudden? And I remembered that incident with that guy. I was like, okay, let me call that guy, because that is the last relationship that I had. I did not have any relationship before that. The last relationship I had, it was in 2010, early 2010. And when I was like, okay, and then this is what I found out, the guy started crying. And the first question he asked me, where did you get it?
Yeah.
I should be asking you that, because I'm on the tester, and first of all,
you're the one who hasn't tested for like 3, 4 years.
And now I'm new in the force, I'm negative. I'm fresh from basic training, so I'm HIV negative. So HIV. I was not in denial. Now, I think in life trained me. The things that I have been through in life, they trained me. I did not have time to fall apart in life, because from my childhood, we were trained by each situation and circumstances that we grew up under, that we dust ourselves off and we move on. Definitely.
For you to be able to have that, and Utibana, you are not in denial. I have told you.
I was just sitting there, I said I'm going to find a way, and I found a way. The first thing I did, I took a fast and I prayed. I was praying for the confirmation, because they drew blood and said, we are going to confirm if you are really positive. So I took a fast and I prayed that, okay, let these results come back negative. But they did not come back negative, they came back positive. And from that day, reality hit me that I was HIV positive.
Let's center it now, how you eventually used that story to where we are now. Do you get what I mean? You have HIV talks with Andisiwe, you run seminars, you run this, you run that. As I've said earlier on, how I came to know you is through your case. If tested positive in the defense force, they find out.
So my classification changed when I was about to renew my contract after the first contract, which is CSS, after the basic training.
Yes.
I had to be put on a new contract.
Yes.
As a CSS, I was on an MSD contract.
Yes.
Now I had to be put on a CSS contract. So when I was supposed to be put in that, they found out that my classification, I did not have an updated DD50, which is a medical report.
Yes.
So my medical report was pending.
Okay.
It was pending reclassification.
Yeah.
So I had to wait for that. So I was no longer classified as healthy. My file was no longer G1K1. So on that basis, my contract was terminated. I was discharged. But in that discharge, I decided to write a letter and disclose, because I saw that there were cases before where people who lived with HIV were discriminated. And then later there was a case, and then they won the case. So I thought it would work in my favor at the time. So I disclosed to one of the captains, and she said she's going to help me write a letter, and then she's going to forward it to the HQ, of which she did, and the results came back that the member is still unhealthy. The member is still not G1K1. I mean, she does not meet the CSS contract criteria.
And so, how do you get the strength to fight the state? Like, okay, let me say this. When you look, guys, at because the report itself is available online, okay? Itimana Andisiwe versus the President of South Africa, the Minister, I think, of Health, so the South African National Defense Force. I'm like, this girl is bold. Like, how do you take the whole, like, you took the South African state, Tori. Like, you took the whole country. Like, you took the President of South Africa to court to challenge a ruling, to challenge also policies that have been there for many years and they've come to be accepted. Like where do you even start? So Nazir resources, because you have to be rich to get to be at that level. Like
it's amazing. It's amazing how everything happened. I am a woman of God, for starters, that you must know.
Hello.
And it was very prophetic in a way that it happened. I have a great relationship with God.
Yeah.
So God has a way of showing me things, of telling me things that are about to take place in my life before they actually happen. Yeah. And that is exactly what happened in the case. I knew that I was going to lose my job in 2012. And God said to me that you're going to be known in the world for living with the HIV. I did not understand at the time. I had no clue. Until the day a signal came. And on that day, God said, your signal is out. It was early in the morning, I was praying. And God said, a signal has come. You're going to receive it today. Be ready. And when I was called into the master's office, I went there, I was given a signal with words that says, unfortunately, your journey ends here. God said to me, actually before I got the signal, the Lord said to me, go and check the policies.
Yeah.
HIV policies.
Yeah.
In the South African Defense Force. I did that. And I found a case. Yeah. When I found the case of the soldiers that fought before,
yes,
for their promotions,
yes,
for their employment and all, and deployments and all this stuff, I saw the AIDS law project that fought their case. And the Spirit of the Lord said to me, take those numbers, call those people. It was midnight to 12 o'clock. I did all those things. In the morning, when I received the signal. And then
you had already been prepared.
Yes. So it happened that I found that case. I called those people in the morning. After I have received that signal, I told them this is what is happening. And they said to me, who are you? Write us an email, tell us your story. I told them everything, that okay, I'm being released and I have disclosed that it's because I am HIV positive, but still I am being released even though I have disclosed. And I just saw this case that you fought and the soldiers won the case. But it was in the army, but I was in the Navy.
Yes.
So they said, okay, we're going to come down to you. We're going to take your story as it is. We're going to assist you in the case. They flew at their own expense. I did not pay a cent. They said to me, this is a very big case. It's against the state of South Africa. And you're going to be on the news. You're going to be known in the world. I was ready for it because God prepared me. And they said, this is going to be a high-profile case.
It was.
It's going to be in high court. So, do you want to be Andisiwe Dwenga? or we want to be anonymous. I said to them, I am not the first to be HIV positive. I am not the last to be HIV positive. Let the people know that I am Andisiwe Dwenga.
Girl, you fought this for 2 years, didn't you?
Yes.
It went on for 2 years.
It went on from, we appeared for the first time in court in June 2013. And then the case was won in late 2014, but I only went back to work in 2015 because the case was still challenged after the ruling was made. Then we were supposed to go to Concord, but then they decided not to do it anymore.
And then about you realize what you did. You literally changed a whole system to accommodate you and others that will be coming after you.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people that would definitely went into the defense force, either not accepted or actually fired or their contract had ended? But with your case, all of that changed. Because now, what they were ordered to do, not to only reinstate you into your job, but to change the policies. For someone that has applied, they are not going to be discriminated against. Someone that tests positive within the force, they will not be, like their growth will not be hindered because of their HIV status. Like, I don't know what to say to that. It's honestly inspiring, and I'm honestly blown away by your courage and how you're able to do that. Listen, you have come far, and you're still going far. Once again, like, you are an inspiration in my own journey. When I was doing my own research in terms of how do I come out, what do I do, where do I go next, what happens if this happens, you are one of the people that we hadn't even met that pioneered my own journey. And I can't thank you enough, honestly. I really can't thank you enough. As I said, I don't think you realize, honestly, you yet to realize the impact that you've had, not only in my life, but internationally, as you said. So I wish you like more platforms, more groundbreaking things that are still going to happen. And I just feel like honestly, it's such a blessing, and I pray over you and that God may open more doors and may continue to use you, because you have proven that when He uses you, like, and yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Nazi. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this time that I had with you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Please make sure you don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share this video. I know for sure. I get so many inboxes, people seeking help. I know that you're going to relate to the story. I always say, when I sign books, may you find parts of yourself in this book. So I'm going to sign out with that also. May you find parts of yourself in this video. Until next time, thank you so much for joining us.